Hey, somebody's got to wish the Marines a happy birthday. You did? Semper Fi. Good morning, afternoon, or evening. You're listening to The Professional Noticer. Here you and I will use common sense and all the wisdom we can muster to move beyond what is true and go all the way to the truth. With actual listeners in more than 100 countries, I am The Professional Noticer. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy Andrews. Hey, thank you for making me a part of your week. My purpose here today, and with every show we do, is to play the part of a best friend or coach. I want to help you live the life of your wildest dreams by giving you access to the greatest mentors the world has to offer today. Our sponsor this week is Just Jones Java, packaged from a sack of ground coffee beans the old man left in his coffee closet. This is the coffee featured in the book Just Jones. Sometimes the thing is impossible until it is actually done. This is the Noticer Blend, an impossibly good coffee from the Rainforest Alliance of certified farms of Central and South America. This perfectly roasted blend is not the slightest bit bitter, a rich aroma, a smooth profile, and a pronounced, well-rounded finish. It is available only on andyandrews.com. Just Jones Java, the only coffee in the world with a healthy dose of perspective. Okay, observations and answers is what we do here. And this week, we have a couple of guys who are very, very good at the observations part of life. In fact, they have created a business out of observing and creating value for their clients. I want you, we'll give you some of their stats later, but for now, I would like you to welcome Gulf Coast Nation. This is Adam and Dylan.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all so much. Yep, it's
Happy
good to be here. That's right.
Excited. We are all excited about this today, and there's actually several reasons that we wanted you guys to be our guests on the podcast. One is that you are both very young, and you own your own business. You're making your living out of something that you created, and the other thing is most of us are crazily interested in what you do. I think crazily being the key word because most of us think you are crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, they catch sharks from the beach and they take their clients and they do shark fishing from the beach, right?
That's right. Yep.
Yes,
right from the sand.
Now, how long has Gulf Coast Nation been an entity?
We've been a business for a little over a year and a half now, but we've been shark fishing together for, I think, since I was in like the 8th grade. So
It's
a while.
been a second.
Wow. And so, when you guys first started this, now with full disclosure, Adam is my son and Dylan is kind of like my third son. And, I got to say, the first time you guys woke me up and told me the size of one you caught, I just couldn't go back to sleep. I don't know if I was excited or scared or what. But I mean, you're catching big stuff.
Yeah, it's for a lot of people, it's a stretch of the imagination for sure. It's something that you don't really fathom until you're a part of it or you see it. So
I know when I tell people about what you guys are doing, I say they're Gulf Coast Nation. It's gulfcoastnation.com. They've got Gulf Coast Nation shirts. They do a video every week on YouTube. And I tell people about this and I say, they're catching sharks from the beach and they're kayaking the baits out. I mean, I tell people this, right? And then I'll say, they're catching like big stuff, and I'll show them a picture. I'll show them a picture of one, and to watch them go, oh my God, I didn't know. It was so. Like, how was your summer? Tell me about your summer, because I want to hear about what you do with clients. I want to hear where they come from. Just everything about it. Right. How was your summer?
Yeah, summer was great. This is our second summer in business, and it was I mean, nothing short of amazing. We got to reach so many people this summer. We just finished up our 102nd charter this year. We ran 28 in July, which is
Even
almost,
with COVID.
right. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, COVID slowed us down in the beginning, and then it was just, I mean, June was packed. We had some storms that slowed us down, and July was just a dream of a month.
So
28
now wait,
days.
how many clients did you have in July?
We had 28 trips in July with an average of 4 people. I'm not great at math, but it was a lot. Not that good at math. That's why I
That's
fish.
good. That's the days. That's the charters I wanted to know. So
Right.
So in 28 charters. Now here's something that's curious. How many charters total? 100 and what?
102. Yeah.
102 charters you
Only
guys have
November.
had in like a year and a half.
Yes.
Just this year. That was 2020
Oh, really?
so far.
Okay.
Yeah, just this year. Yeah.
All right. So, how many states? Because this is what I'm really curious about. Because I'll ask Adam. I'll say, "Hey, so you guys fishing tonight?" And he'll go, "Yes, sir." And I'll say, "So where are they from?" He said, "I'm not sure, but they're not from here. They're like never from here."
Yeah.
How many states have the people been?
Want to say around 25, 30-ish, a lot.
25 or 30 different states.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, we've had a good
And they're,
reach.
for the most part, driving here, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I think we've had 2 or 3 people fly in.
Yeah. And we've had people drive from California, New York.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Some
That is
crazy
just
trip times.
unbelievable. And it's, I mean, there are big things that I see that, like, for duck hunters, big high level things for duck hunters, and there's big high level things for quail hunters, and I guess deer and turkey hunters too. And there's big charters that, people go on charter boats
Right.
for
Yes, sir.
fishing. But I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard of anything. I know there's got to be some other people somewhere, but you guys are 2 young guys that are catering to like families that are coming in to catch this is a trophy of a lifetime. This is a video out of it, and
Yeah, it's a wrap up of an experience to, from fishing to enjoying the beach with your family to, wrapping up a video that you can, always remember your trip by.
okay. I want to know about the whole trip, but first, let me ask you this: just in July, give me some sizes. Give me how big of what?
In July, I think we got 12 over 10, and 5 of those were over 12 feet. Big.
12 feet.
Yes, sir.
Now, how much does a 12-foot shark weigh?
That would be over 1,000.
Yep. The 12'7" was estimated right at 1,450 pounds. That was the biggest.
Yes, sir. Heavy fish.
Now, if you. All right, say that again. The 12'7", is that the biggest one you guys have landed?
That was the biggest this year, yes, sir. Yeah.
And now understand, they're catching these things from the beach.
Yes, sir.
And so you had a
On the
client
sand.
land that.
Yeah, they were from Louisiana. There were 2 people on the rod, and they got it done. And one of them was the wife, and she was tough. She
Wow.
got it done.
So 12'7", which and you guys tag and release them for
Right.
Noah,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Because Noah tracks them around
Right.
the world with temperature, food, all this kind of stuff,
Right.
tidal flow, and so Noah has. So when you say that 12'7" was estimated at what?
1,450 pounds.
Okay, so there is actually a chart because I've seen it.
Yes,
There's a NOAA chart that says, okay, what is the species? Is it male or female? What,
Right.
And you guys provide the measurement, and the chart tells you the estimated weight because you're releasing them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no getting them on the scale. at all.
If you're listening to this in your car, I would really urge you keep listening. Okay, but at some point you are going to want to go back on AndyAndrews.com or on YouTube, the Andy Andrews channel on YouTube, and you're going to want to watch this particular podcast episode because Matt is throwing up some video as we talk, and I know people are looking at this picture behind me.
Yeah.
That is just insane.
Hands down the biggest shark that I've ever seen.
Yes.
Now,
sir.
what kind? Now, and so there's Adam. You're holding on to the tail of the thing. So, now, tell me what I'm looking at here, because what happens when you get them to the beach?
Well, one of us it was on the rod with the client. Whenever you call leader, then you back the drag down.
Wait, you call leader. What does that
So
mean?
it means you go down, grab the leader, and wrap up in it. And then
So who calls leader? Who says?
we take turns. It's both of our favorite parts.
Okay, all right.
And so we'll go down there, do that.
You're in the water,
In the water.
Yes.
grabbing the leader,
Yes,
Just
sir.
the neck deep most of the time.
chest to neck deep,
Yeah.
with 1,000-pound fish, and you've got him by a leader.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Right.
All right,
And so you call leader, and then the person on the rod gets them out of the harness, puts the rod back in the rod holder, and then they run down with the catch bucket, and you take the hook out.
what is the catch bucket?
It like has our bolt cutters, de-hooker, tag,
stuff,
measurement stuff, everything you'd need to release a shark.
How fast do you have to? Oh, keep going. Tell me about releasing him, and then I want to.
And so we take the hook out, measure it.
Who does that? How do you take the hook out? Will you tell him open wide?
It takes both of us most of the time. Since we use circle hooks, it sets in the corner of the mouth.
Right.
And so one of us will get behind the fish, wrap up on the leader again, then you slip the D-hooker around it and pop it, and it comes right out
Pops right out.
real easy. And
But
then
if it doesn't come out easy, what do you do?
use the bolt cutters.
Use the bolt cutters. Okay,
Yes,
and then
sir.
it'll rust out of the shark's mouth.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Gotcha. 'Cause
And-
you don't use stainless steel hooks.
No,
Yep.
sir.
Yep. Everything we do is in the mind of, shark safety and conservation. So we obviously don't want to affect this creature more than we have to. And then
Right.
Shark safety.
that's right.
I'm
The
not
safety
so
of the shark.
I'm not so concerned about shark safety. I can't remember to watch you guys. One of the first time I watched, and you're kayaking, the bait's out.
Yeah.
I tell people that, and they go, well, why they do that? It's because you can't stand on the beach and cast a 20-pound bait out.
Right.
You know? And so you're. But wait, we'll get to that in a minute. But so continue on about releasing him. What do? Do you have a rope on him? You got a rope on this one.
Yeah, so sometimes we put a tail rope on them, depending on the species and how tired they are whenever they come in. It really just depends on.
Now,
shark.
what kind is this one right here?
That's tiger shark.
That's a tiger. What kind was the one that was 1,450 pounds?
It was a tiger shark as well.
Tiger.
Yep.
Okay.
We get a lot of tiger sharks in our area. It's probably our favorite fish to get our hands on.
Okay. I'm just curious. What? I've got so many questions.
Yeah.
I guess I'll ask that in a minute. Back to releasing them.
So
So, are these sharks mad when they come in? I mean, are they like looking at you and going, "What the?" So you're the one that did this? I mean,
Yeah.
there's certain sharks that are more dangerous than other sharks. Like a lot of people think the bigger, the badder. That's not the case at all. I'd much rather swim with a 1,200-pound tiger shark than a 3-foot blacktip.
Yeah.
wait, you'd rather do what with one?
Swim with one.
I have seen a video of you, my son, actually underwater with your hand on a tiger shark's nose, hadn't I?
Yes, sir.
Taking a little selfie picture with it.
Yes, sir.
I thought I raised you with more sense than that.
Wouldn't do it with a blacktip.
You wouldn't?
No, sir.
So tell me why you would rather be in the water with a 12-foot tiger shark than a 3-foot blacktip.
I mean, when the blacktips come in, they're like wild. They're like, it's harder to deal with them. And a big tiger, they move real slow. And if you see them start to turn, you just grab him and push him the other way.
But tigers are, they are, I guess you use the term man-eater. I mean, they
Yeah,
are, they are
100%.
dangerous sharks.
Yeah, you hear about it off Hawaii all the time. They're it's almost like when they come in, and we're both swimming right there with them. Either somebody's on the shark and the other person's on the camera underwater. We're swimming with them, and it's almost like they're not afraid of you at that point, which is almost more intimidating than him trying to attack you, because then you know his purpose. But when they're swimming right there with you, you know the shark has every capability to take your arm off, your leg off, your head off, whatever it is, and he's just cruising, not afraid at all of you. And it's almost like you're not a threat. Oh, you're 150 pounds? That's cute. I remember when I was 150 pounds. Yeah, it's like...
Because they I see you guys. I've watched so many of your videos on YouTube now, and that's Gulf Coast Nation.
Yeah.
And I listen. If you're listening to this or watching this, I would really urge you go find Gulf Coast Nation on YouTube and push that subscribe button. It costs you nothing, but you will know when they post a new video. And when you go on YouTube, you'll see over to the left there will be a lineup of the things you have subscribed for. And you find it, and you'll know when they've posted a new one. I've got friends who call me. I mean, I'm subscribed to your channel, but I got friends who call me and go, "Oh my God, did you see what they did last night?" You know, but I mean, before I ever and so these you're turning them around in the surf.
Yes.
Yeah, they never leave the water.
Is that the craziest time?
That and right whenever they pick up the bait, because they either do one of two things: they run in with it and the line slacks up, or they go out and we set the reels with real light drag so the clickers go off.
Like in Jaws. With it.
Yes. And that's always real exciting. And
you know, the thing with you just said about the line slacks up. Tell me if I've got this right, because I came out. Sometimes I'll come out and I'll just sit on a dune and watch you guys with your clients, because these people, they seem to be having so much fun. And I'm always just amazed at how the little kids love Adam.
Yeah, right.
Like, I've got where is this picture? I've got a
right
picture.
there. Yep.
Yeah, I think that is just hilarious, because it's like the little kids. And even when your nieces and nephews came to visit, they were like,
"Oh, 100%.
Where's Adam?
Where's Adam at? I need it."
And so when I came out and watched you guys one night, my big question was, why do you have these different colored lights that are like where the rod is on the beach? It's sticking straight up. Now, these reels weigh how much?
No,
18, 20 pounds.
Yeah, right in that range.
18 or 20 pound reels.
Yep.
How much line do they hold?
Right around probably 1,600 yards total, about 1,000 yards of braid, and anywhere from 200 to 600 yards on top. So
okay, and so when you guys set them out, you're kayaking the baits out. Explain how you kayak a bait out.
Right, so we're gonna have somebody. That's why shark fishing is a two-person sport. That's why Adam and I do it together. And you got somebody on the rod. It's a bait caster style reel. It's a conventional, so you don't want
level wind.
Right. Yeah. So and so you don't want it to backlash. So if I'm kayaking the bait out, Adam's gonna stay with the reel. I'm gonna put the bait in the back of the kayak. Some people put it in their lap with a hook, and that's not smart.
That's not
smart. This is already not
through.
This is already not smart. So you put the bait in the back of the kayak and you get in, and sometimes you're getting in the kayak in the wintertime, north winds, real calm, and you're kayaking out on a lake. Sometimes you're getting in the kayak and you're looking at 6-foot waves, which when you're sitting in a kayak, you're only 3 foot tall. So you're going over waves that are twice the size of you. And we kayak them out anywhere from 150 yards to 800 to 1,000 yards, and we stagger each bait and we just drop it.
So how many lines do you put out?
So on charters, we do 5 total. So we do 3 big rods and then 2 for black tips. We call them small sharks, but everyone's like, what's a small shark? Well, black tips, 3 6-foot range. You're like, that's a small shark? Yeah, that's a small shark.
Yeah, it's funny to me. It's funny to me.
All in relevance.
I asked Adam, this a couple or 3 weeks ago, I saw him in the morning and I said, "Did you guys do anything last night?" He said, "Nah, just 2 little ones." And I said, "Oh, really?" He said they were both like 7 feet.
Yeah.
Like, really? That's little to you now, because I know the clients are like freaking out.
Yep.
It's bigger than them.
Right.
Okay. But you guys are spoiled. So you're kayaking the bait out and you're going to stagger them. You're laying an array of the baits. Okay. And so and I've seen you guys on walkie-talkies or VHF radios, and so the guy in the kayak has a VHF, guy on the beach has a VHF, and so what happens? Do you have a mark on the line, and you like lock down the reel and pull the bait off the kayak? What happens?
We generally do it by like paddle strokes if it's calm, and if it's not, then you tell them where they are on the spool. You always tell them whenever they get to braid. We don't always stop at braid, but you always
Okay,
tell them.
so at braid means you have how much line out?
Depending on the reel, about 150 to 200 yards normally.
What's the farthest out you will paddle a bait out?
Right around 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
Really?
We always
Yes.
drop one really deep.
And so you're doing that you're figuring that by paddle strokes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, about 500 to 650 paddles will be about a yard and a half each paddle. So it's right in that range.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And I just have to say, as a dad, the first time that I came over and watched you guys one night, and I saw Adam get into that kayak and start paddling out of sight into the dark,
Yeah.
I was like,
When's he coming back?
what the heck? But you have a light on the back of your head so
Right.
no one can see where you are, and you've got the radio, and of course you're wearing safety gear, you're wearing life jacket and all that kind of stuff. And so, all right, so now this is what I was wanting to get to. So let's say you have all your baits out, and I was looking at those baits. Like the rod is kind of going straight up, and then the line is so thick. What pound test is that, by the way?
200.
Yeah.
200-pound test. Okay,
Yes.
so I can see this line going out into the Gulf, but at night, you can't see it well, but you guys have these things hanging there in the kind of the loop of the line before it gets to the water. Maybe 20 feet away from the rod tip toward the rod, it's like a light hanging on it.
Yes, sir. They're deep drop lights for like swordfish.
Okay, but you guys aren't using them for that.
No, sir. They're waterproof.
You are using it, and I thought this
Different
was
purpose.
genius because I was like, why do you have those on there? So tell us why.
We use them, like I said earlier, whenever a shark picks up the bait, it's either going to do one of two things. It's either going to go out or come back in. If it comes back in and heads north with it, then the light's going to drop and line will slack up. And so that'll just tell us.
Right, and without that line slacking, that light dropping,
You'd have
you're
to-
not hearing anything,
yeah.
and you would
Yes,
never
'cause
know.
that doesn't
No
make
clue.
any noise.
Because if he goes the other way, it goes zzz,
Yeah.
like that. But coming this way, you just think, well, that bait's just kind of floating in or something.
Right.
You're drifting in. I just thought that was pretty smart to be able to look at a glance and
Yeah, to
tell.
constantly
So
be able to
what part, when the client gets there, you guys have already laid a couple of baits, right?
Yeah.
At what time, like summertime fishing, because I want to get to winter stuff in a minute. That is
Yeah.
very interesting to me.
Yeah.
But the summertime fishing, you guys generally do a either a 6 hour, like a 6 p.m. to midnight,
Yep.
or a 12 hour, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And so if your clients are going to be there at 6 p.m., what do they show up? What do they see when they show up? And what have they done? What have you talked about? What have
Oh,
you gotten
goodness.
them ready for?
Right. So our summertime schedule is like a constant loop of work, and it's great. I love it. But
Yes,
so if a trip starts at 6, we're leaving our house by noon. We're getting together, and if we got to change top shot, put new line on, get new baits,
Oh, wait, change what?
change our top shot, just that top section of monofilament line.
Yeah,
So
okay.
so if you catch a shark, you got to change the line. So if we caught big fish last night, we changed the line because you want to put.
Why
your
is
group-
that?
So like mono will stretch out, monofilament line will stretch out. So when you hook 1,000-pound fish or even 450, 500-pound fish, it stretches like a rubber band. And so when you stretch it enough, it weakens the line.
Okay.
And then we'd hate a client to lose a fish just because we didn't want to change the line out. So we.
So that's a lot of work to change the lineup. But
Oh my gosh! Change 200 yards so quick. So we start at noon, fresh up the gear, and then we normally get to the beach around 2:30, 3 o'clock. In July, it's you can think of how many tens of thousands of people are here, and so we got to find a parking spot. So we got to fight for a parking spot. Then it takes about 30 minutes to unload all the gear from the trailer, and then we get down to the beach, and there's rows of people. So we have to wait for one group to leave, and we go down and get a spot, and then we set up a couple rides, and then another group leaves.
This is why in the summertime you're only fishing at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Cannot fish around swimmers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's
And so, and I'm also curious. People ask you this. I know they say, "Are you chumming?"
yeah.
no, so sharks are already there.
That's right. Prove that from the drone footage for sure. We put the drone up sometimes to get some footage, and you'd be surprised how many people are right within 10 to 15 feet of bull sharks and blacktips constantly.
If you want to know if there's sharks in the water, dip your finger in the water and taste it, and if it's salty, you're near a shark.
There's a shark there.
That that is amazing though.
Yeah.
People think, well, you chumming, no, but no, they're there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
No, and the baits that we use don't chum. They wouldn't bring a shark in. It's when they swim past, they're going to eat it if they're there
Right.
or not. Yeah,
Okay, so all right, so you're setting up your gear. People are leaving. It's getting
Right.
later. People are leaving the beach, and they generally are gone by about 5 or 5:30.
right.
Because it's dinner and they've been there all day or
Yes,
whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. So when the last people kind of get out of the water, that's when we start running our baits. And like I said earlier, we run 5 rods. So we run two of the big rods. Right around that 5:45 time, we save the last drop. Normally, the long drop, so the clients can see, how far we're going out. And when they get there, we, introduce them, get them settled in, and then we're going to drop that last bait. They're seeing Adam or me kayak 1,000 yards out to the Gulf, drop a bait. That kind of
But
sets
they're
the
not
mood.
having to sit through you doing it 5 times.
Right, yeah. So
Yeah,
when they
so-
get there, we have 2 rods in, and 2 rods in, sometimes 3 or 4 already, and we save at least one so they can see it. But when they get there at 6, they're fishing.
Yes.
Like they're, we've had it before that big hammer we caught
Yeah.
was at 6:01. They were 1 minute into their trip and caught a fish of a lifetime.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
And if you book a 6-hour trip on a boat, you aren't fishing for 6 hours.
You're not touching a rod until you an hour into the trip.
Yeah.
So
That's true. I
Yeah.
mean, 'cause- and a 6-hour trip in a boat now because of fuel
goodness.
cost and all that kind of stuff. I mean, people. I mean,
Yeah.
people can go on the GulfCoastNation.com site and see the prices and see stuff like that.
Yeah, trip
but it's nowhere near charter. When I grew up, Adam, and I know I've told you this. My family would save up for a year and come down here, and we would charter a boat. But you could charter a boat for $500 then, but you
Right.
can't come close to that now.
Right.
But you guys are, comparatively very affordable, and nobody gets seasick with you guys.
Yeah.
no,
So-
yeah, no.
Yeah, tell me about your setup. What do you do?
So after we get the last baits out, we get everybody. We kind of like to give people an idea if they haven't watched our videos. What's going to happen. Some groups are already doing rock paper scissors to see who goes first. If you've ever been custom fitted for a suit, we custom fit you for a harness when you get there, and that's way better than getting custom fitted for a suit. So we'll get somebody fitted up for the harness. That way, when the rod goes off, it's a get in the harness and go kind of thing. And we really just, that first 10, 15 minutes, you really get to set the stage of you can feel the anticipation. Some people they get real quiet and, they're kind of talking, but their eyes never leave the rods, and you can just feel and we tell them, at any given moment, we could be in the middle of a conversation and boom, the rod goes off and literally your whole vacation, sometimes people's lives are changed at that, 1 second. So it's just constant anticipation from the moment they get to the beach, which is awesome.
My gosh. Now, you guys I know that you did a television show one time. You were guests on a television show where they brought 2 guys down, and both the guys had Down syndrome.
Yeah, yes, sir.
And you guys fished them on a 12-hour?
It was a 42-hour trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
42-hour. Okay,
Yeah,
because
yep.
you do those occasionally. You do those in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Right,
We don't
right.
get to that in a
Yep,
minute.
yep, yep.
Yes.
But tell, you can't help but go, gosh, man, I hope these guys do good, because I've been amazed. I mean, it's fishing just like they're wild fish. You can't
Yeah.
control the temperature.
Right.
You can't control the weather. You can't control
What's
the
there.
tides, and you can't control what's there. But I have been shocked at how rarely you guys get skunked.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not often. And And I remember thinking when those two young men were there and their parents were there and the film crew was there, I was thinking, man, I just hope this is not. Tell us what happened at night and then in the daytime.
So that night we got two about 7-foot sandbars, which is a really big sandbar shark. So they each got on it. Each did it all by themselves. And most grown...
You're coaching like crazy.
And these kids, they're doing it by themselves.
Most grown men need to call in a sub about halfway through. They did it all by themselves. And then the next day, got a 10-foot tiger in the middle of the day.
Right in the middle of the day.
They doubled up on that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The kids had a lights out weekend, and they did it. I mean, there was no adult help. There was no nothing. It was simply us coaching and them just...
Really?
I mean, the pure adrenaline and passion. They were just so excited on cloud nine, and it was awesome. Yeah.
I'm curious. What is the best night that you've ever had on numbers, and what's the best night you've had on different species?
One night we got 6 tiger sharks before midnight.
In 6 hours.
Yes.
Oh my!
Tripled up on them.
Yeah, we were tripled up. There was 3 people on rods, and
at one time.
Yep.
Yes.
Standing side by side by side, and it was on. Yeah, it was unreal. We kept thinking surely one of them's tangled up, and that's what we're hooked up on. And it was I mean, it hit the beach, and it was 7.5-foot shark, 8.5-foot tiger, 9-foot tiger, and it was like, holy smokes. That has to be it. Got more baits out, and it was like a 4th tiger, a 5th tiger. That's 11 o'clock. Sure, it's got to be done. And then Adam hooks up to an insanely giant tiger. It was 10'3" at the fork. It had no tail whatsoever, been bitten off. And it was just like...
Would have been
12 foot, hands down, yeah.
So it was a 1,000-pound fish.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, sir. Oh, sure. 10-foot, 1,000-pound fish.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Huge.
So what's the best night you guys are? Just tell me a night that you caught different species.
Oh my gosh! So in June we had a group out and went to Pensacola, took them out, and
because you're fishing out of Orange Beach, Alabama,
right.
And you go right over the line. You're fishing off the beach in Florida.
Yeah.
So this night you were over toward Pensacola.
Yep. And we got them out there, and this group had a younger guy. His name was Graham, and he was funny as all get out because he was doing, people get antsy in there. When's one going to hit? And it's like, well, buddy, we can't.
How old was this guy?
He was 7 years old.
Okay,
yep.
all right.
Yep. So he was asking, when's one going to hit? I really want to catch a hammer, and it was like, I don't know. There's no telling. Tonight could be a 1 shark night. If there's a dominant shark, that kind of stuff. And it was like 30 minutes into the trip, hooked up on our long drop, and when we hook up to a fish, we know pretty quick how big it is. We set the hook on this thing and it started screaming drag, and that is a telltale sign of a hammerhead, and that's what he wanted to catch. He wanted to catch a hammer, so we got him on the rod. He's 7 years old, put it in single speed. He was cranking his own hammerhead in by himself, and he had shark pajamas on, talking about hammerheads the whole time. This kid was lit up. So we got this hammer in and released it, put a tag in it. Great success. Kids on cloud 9. Takes 5 minutes, everyone's kind of settling down, looking at pictures, and he just goes, so when's the next one? It's like, holy smokes, I don't know if there's going to be a next one. That was awesome, whatever. And, an hour later, one rod goes off, hook up on it, really heavy fish, feeling like a tiger shark, So we're like, oh my gosh, species number 2, no way. So we're 10 minutes into this fight. It's getting kind of close, and I'm on the reel, and the second reel starts going off. And it was like fast again, and slows down fast, real, bull shark like. And Adam gets on the rod because we were trying to get, hey, someone go over with Adam. So Adam goes ahead and sets the hook because we were like, hey, he's ready to be set, And Adam sets the hook, rod comes tight, and Adam starts sliding. His feet start sliding in the sand.
Slipping like
One of the clients jumps in front and grabs the rod, and it was like, holy smokes, we're doubled up. So we, again.
I noticed you guys always stand in front of the client. You stand
100%.
Between the client and the water.
Yep. Yep. So we're gonna put ourselves in between you and that fish or any type of danger. We'll make sure it's fun time. But so we were doubled up then, and it was luckily we tried to separate these 2 fish. That's what we wanted to do. We figured one was a bull shark, one was a tiger. We don't want these fish next to each other. Like the tiger shark's not gonna bother a tiger shark, but 2 species are kind of clash. And this is like we get these 2 fish separated, and their line kept slacking up while we were getting this tiger shark. And I'm in the water on the leader, calling out tiger shark, trying to get the hook out, trying to get Adam to come down for, just a couple 10 seconds so we could pop the hook out.
On the rods.
Well, and Adam keeps calling. He keeps swimming in. And I'm thinking, what in the world's going on? And next thing I know, I see a dorsal fin come behind, and I was like, that's not attached to my fish. That's not attached to this fish. And so I'm running out of the water, and this bull shark was ramming this tiger shark. Like an 8.5-foot bull shark was fighting this 10-foot tiger. And so we're like, we can't have, we can't have like a bloodbath right in front of us. So Adam and I jump. I mean, you want to talk about being right in the middle of the chaos. We jump in the middle of it all, pop the hook out of the tiger shark. I'm trying to separate the tiger shark from the bull shark. Adam's holding back the bull shark, like two kids in a school fight. And we pop the hook out of one of them. And there's a picture we have on our Instagram. And it's like, I'm trying to pull the tiger shark away from the bull shark, or Adam's pulling the tiger shark away. I'm holding the bull shark back, and I had gotten knocked by the fin down in between both of them, and the bull shark came over the top of me to go back. And it was that moment, those moments in life where everything goes in slow motion. I'm just thinking, this is the end. This is it. This is what everybody's been talking about.
This is why you don't let clients in the water.
Right. And it was honestly one of my favorite moments of my entire life because it was just so, so chaotic. But we ended up getting both of those sharks out. Adam was walking, southeast, and I was walking southwest. And it was like, get these two fish away from each other. And we got them both released. But that was a night, it was a hammer, big tiger, big bull shark, all within about 3 hours.
Yes,
and it was I could talk for hours.
I'm always amazed when, Adam will come home and he'll be skint in weird places. A lot of people, they look at sharks and they don't understand kind of how they're built. And I wonder, I don't know this, but I wonder if, back in ancient times, people used sharks' skins for like sandpaper, because
Surely.
if you rub your hand on a shark like from the front to the back, it's very smooth. But you go back to front, it's like the roughest sandpaper you've had in your life. And so I've seen videos and pictures of you guys, tagging, dehooking, and one of you is like straddling the shark. And so I've seen Adam come home with the skin taken off of his thighs right above his knees, It's like, ooh. And I know you had a nipple incident.
Oh,
we won't get into that.
Oh, goodness.
But Adam told me
Nightmares.
about that. He said, Dylan's in a lot of pain.
Yep. Throws me back. Bad
Shark got me there.
That's right.
So tell me about the winter. I am really, because you guys have this coming up.
Yeah.
You got the winter coming up, and you guys love that more than you love anything because there's nobody on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
And you can fish daytime, anytime. You can fish. Tell me about the winter. What do you love about that?
I like it because I don't like to be cold, but when you get all bundled up and we have the grill out there, then you aren't really cold, and you're just not sweating.
Right.
That's
nice.
You
guys do have windbreaks. You have nice chairs.
Canopies.
You have a fire in a kettle. You have a grill. I mean, tell me. I've seen. I mean, people are eating all the time. What do you guys do food wise?
Yeah.
We have a grill package, and so if you want us to bring out the grill, we'll bring it out. We bring all the charcoal. We light it for you. Do everything. You just gotta bring the meat.
That's right.
Cook it up.
Yeah, it's not a $20 grill.
You guys have had pizzas delivered for people too.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Really?
You can't get uncomfortable on the beach, and we make sure that people don't. So yeah, bring the grill out. We can do steaks, chicken, asparagus. All bacon on the grill. We've cooked fish that we've caught. The last charter we did, they caught pompano. We grilled it. Some of the best pompano I've ever had.
Very good.
Within 20 minutes of catching it, so that was awesome. But yeah, they can.
And that's why you guys will keep small rods out to the sides to have you catch fish like pompano and bluefish and Spanish and
redfish,
and stuff like that. So when you to me, the wintertime has just got to be. First of all, I think, a minute ago when you were talking about going in the daytime and the beach is just packed, I have to say this. What you're talking about, a beach being packed, is not what most people think of when they think of a beach being packed.
Right.
Because down here, we don't have packed beaches. We don't have, I mean, I've seen on television, and I've been, California, Texas, and some of these East Coast beaches where they're like every 5 feet,
Right.
But we don't have it like that.
No.
And in the wintertime, you can literally go out on this. This is pure white sand. It's a 100-mile stretch of sand that they call the Miracle Strip.
Yep.
And, I try to tell people about it, but people can't. They just can't picture how white this is.
No.
USA Today for several years ago, they would do a top 10 beaches of the world or a top 10 beaches of the United States. And at some point, somebody realized, hey, 8 of the top 10 are in that 100-mile strip there on the northern Gulf Coast.
Right.
And so they said, okay, that's one beach. And so they made that one beach, and it like one every year. And so then one year they did a soil sample of the top 10 beaches in America. And they did, Waikiki, they did Daytona, they did, Manhattan Beach out in California. They did, some of the East Coast and the Gulf beaches farther down, but they did ours. And I never will forget, because we always knew, our sand is like the color and consistency of sugar.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's so fine that it squeaks when you walk, right? It squeaks. And, you're just like, ring, 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 ring. And so, but when they did the soil samples, I was amazed. We were all kind of amazed because none of us knew. All these other beaches were 3 or 4 or 5 different things.
Yeah.
But our sand was the only beach that was one thing. It's crushed quartz. And it's one mineral.
Yeah.
And so when you're out there in the wintertime and there is nobody there, I mean, it's just like, we're not very populated anyway.
Yeah.
And you send that drone up and the people it's just the quiet. But, what do you catch in the wintertime?
In the wintertime, like people think, some people think fishing's bad in the winter. It's never bad, just a species change.
Right.
So in the winter, so in the wintertime, we get tiger sharks, duskies, sandbars, makos, and white sharks. And the mako and white sharks, that's like your golden ticket. About 10 makos hit the beach every year in the Panhandle, and maybe 1 or 2 every other year. Someone will catch
a great white.
Yes,
Someone will catch a great white. Yeah.
It was last year. Wasn't it last year that they kept that one that was tagged?
Yeah.
Going through here.
Yeah, like right.
I mean, they were talking about it on the news.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Homer or whatever they named it. It's like come by Pensacola. But I mean,
Right off the
literally
beach.
great whites and. Sheesh.
Yeah, it's something else. It's something else.
And so have you, like, I remember I was up at the camp. Austin and I were up at the camp one night, and it was 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night, and Adam texted me, and he said, "Dad, we're hooked up to a monster." And I turned to Austin and I said, "Well, I don't know what this is, but it must be really big because he ain't even saying anything about 8 and 9 foot sharks anymore.
Right.
He ain't not even telling me, And so they're hooked up to a monster, and that was a Mako, right?
Yeah, hands down. Yep,
Yes.
we saw him jumping in the moonlight.
There's the video of you. Because you guys were out there by yourselves that night,
Yeah.
which is really funny to me. If you want to come and charter Gulf Coast Nation, you want to have these guys, anybody that you want to take you to do something, don't you want not only somebody that's great at it, but somebody that likes it?
Oh my God.
And so it's so funny to me, these guys, 28 charters in a month. You know what they do when they're not chartered? They go fishing.
Yep.
It's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And so you guys were out there that night by yourselves.
Yep, just me and Adam.
Didn't have a client and hooked up. And I still go back and look at that video sometime. And it was seeing you, because you were hooked up to that shark.
Yeah.
And the force, the pressure.
Yeah, just raw.
I mean,
raw power.
There is a drag for people who don't fish a lot. How people say, well, he caught a 40-pound fish on 12-pound line. Well, that's because there's a drag on the reel, which means that line will slip. If you're using 12-pound test line, you set the drag to slip at like 6 or 8 pounds. So when it gets that much pressure, it will slip out. And that's what you're hearing when you're hearing that zzz, that thing. It's a drag on it. So what do you guys set your drag? What was that drag set at that night?
Yeah, so we always set our starting drag at 65 pounds. 65 pounds of pressure. Yeah.
And so that's how much you were having to hold. That's why that looked...
Yeah, like every ounce of my weight was levitating backwards. My back was 3 inches from the ground, and it was everything I could putting back into it. Adam holding me back. And there were times when I'm holding all I can, Adam's holding all he can, and that Mako is going 30 to 35 miles an hour south, and he's dragging us both. Not stopping, just unreal power. And then what he'd do is he would run for 100 yards, and we couldn't stop him. We're just trying to maintain, and then he would jump. So you can imagine having all your weight back, and Mako's jump. So he jumps 10, 15 feet out of the water. Of course, when we see a Mako breach 800 yards out in the moonlight, we just go, oh my gosh, look at it. And then, of course, everything goes slack when he jumps. So we fall backwards. And then it's like, you're starting to get so excited, then the Mako hits the water. And it's like, did you see that jump at him? But we weren't thinking, oh, he's back in the water. He's probably going to go 30 miles an hour again. So when he hits the water, we're falling back. And then he comes tight and just starts running again, which rips everything
like you're
forward.
tied onto a truck.
Oh my gosh, yeah, 100%. It was crazy.
Now I got a question. I want to hear both of your answers to this, and I don't wear everybody out with this, but I know people are just gonna love this episode just because we have writers, we have singers, we have speakers, but this is pretty rare, and so we want to take advantage of it. I know because I'm your dad, okay, that ESPN called, SportsCenter called about, and was it about him underwater with the shark, or was it when you guys were doing a running set?
It was the latter.
It was the running set.
Yeah.
Okay,
this
now,
is my favorite story.
When I saw this video, my jaw dropped. Okay, I was, because if you'd have told me about it, I'm not sure I would have really kind of understood what happened.
Yeah.
Because you're standing there, Adam, you're standing there, and you've got the rod or the reel in front of you. The rod is over your shoulder, and you're facing away from the water.
Yes.
Right? And so the shark is on free spool, the clicker's on, and it's going zzz like that, but he's not feeling anything. He's just taking the bait.
Right.
You guys are getting ready to set the hook, but because that monofilament has so much stretch in it, and it was the deep drop.
Yeah, fast fish.
You are gonna engage the reel, lock the reel down, and now you are going to run up the beach with that rod on your shoulder to set the hook, right?
Against the fish, yeah.
So what happened?
So, generally in that situation, everything would come tight. You'd run back up to the rod holder, stick it in the rod holder, and then someone would be in the harness. And
Get your client there.
Right. Yeah. And then in this particular situation, it did not work like that. So, I think that I gave it too much drag to begin with.
So
went too far up.
Pressure?
Yeah, sir. Okay. And it was moving really, really fast.
The other way.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
So you're trying to run up the beach.
Tug of war.
He's going the other way.
Yes, sir. And so I engaged the reel, started running, got maybe 8 steps, and I stopped. And then started to go back and didn't stop going back until fell off the edge into the water.
Where the waves make crash.
But it's like he like pulled you backwards and is like pulling you in the water.
Yeah, so-
And Dylan, you're filming it, but
Yeah,
you had to like.
I had the camera. Yeah. So from my perspective, it's, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm running back with the camera stand, trying to get, good film and video. And it was like, I'm 5 feet away from him. And when he sticks, I just set the camera stand down and think, I can just get to him in a second. And I am at a dead sprint trying to get to Adam. And Adam is backpedaling, trying to keep his, not from falling on the back of his head. And I am at a dead sprint, and I didn't catch him for probably 20 feet until he got to the, the edge of the water. And he finally fell off that ledge, fell about 5 feet directly back, right on the top of his back, head hits the sand. And I get down to the reel, and, my first thought is, and of course Adam's first thought would have been the same, get the reel. It's an $1,800 rod and reel combo. So I'm reaching down thinking, Adam, there's no way, even if he's unconscious, Adam is not letting go of this reel. So he's like half out of it. He hits the back of his head, he's holding the reel. He's in the water, in the wash, and I'm grabbing the reel. Well, I grab the reel, and it's tight from the fish, and then I go to step up with it, and Adam is like half with it, holding on to the reel, and I'm having to like fight Adam for the reel. And I'm saying like, hey man, let go. I'm putting a foot on his chest, like, let go of the reel. And so I have to rip the rod out of Adam's hand. And then, once he kind of like gets with it again, he pops out, sweatshirt on, soaked, and he gets right on the ride with me. And we both, two hands on it, run it back up the beach, get it stuck in the rod holder. And it happens quick, but
So two young guys from Orange Beach, Alabama, and ESPN Sports Center's calling to do that.
Yeah,
wow.
They were like, we want that video. So.
All right, so wintertime. Just describe wintertime and tell me, because you guys have some openings now. If people want to come down for the trip of a lifetime.
Yep.
And do it in the winter and not sweat and actually fish in the day with great drone footage.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Just beautiful beaches too,
so tell us about it.
So wintertime fishing personally is my favorite time of year to fish. There's no people, you get an open beach, but like you talked about, daytime fishing is something we can't do in the summertime. And I know a lot of people think, nighttime equals sharks. And that's true sometimes, but really what it is tide movement equals sharks. So there's sometimes in the summertime where the tide movement matches up great with night, and, everything comes into play, and it's a good night of fishing, But in the wintertime, if high tide's at noon, we're going to fish from maybe 8 in the morning, and start there and fish that rising tide and then fish that falling tide. So you have the option to, always fish the good tide movements.
Right.
And then also, there's at night it's not unenjoyable, but if the kids want to come play football, they can play football for the whole 6 hours, not just the first couple hours of the trip until the sun sets. So the kids can come play frisbee, football. We do volleyball stuff with them, stuff like that. We can go hunt crabs, build sand castles. So you get a lot more daytime fun stuff.
And you guys do a lot of stuff with the kids.
Oh yes, for sure. Yeah. Well, we're kind of like kids, so we don't want to be bored. So no one's getting bored on the beach. So,
and you guys do. So in the wintertime, what are the what are the lengths of your trips? What do you do? What do you offer?
Yes, good.
We offer the normal 6 hour and 12 hour, and we also offer a 42 hour all weekend. Show up on Friday, don't leave till Sunday morning.
Call it the True Grit.
The True Grit.
The True Grit 42 hour.
And so, but a bunch of people have done that. And
Yeah.
A bunch of people, and a good thing too about the wintertime, I would imagine, for people, you guys have people coming from all over, is that the prices for the condos and the hotels, everything is rock bottom here.
Yeah.
Because winter is off season in this area.
Right.
And so, and again, social distancing is no problem with you guys because you're all outdoors and nobody's up close anyway.
Right.
And so you've got the fire for them at night. This is just great. And so I would really, I'll just, put my personal stamp on this because I think one of the greatest things that you guys have to offer is both of you are great examples for the kids. Yeah, I'm just telling you, we've all had hunting and fishing or camping trips where everybody kind of goes back and talks about the guide. Adam and I have talked about. Remember the guy we went to Dr. Charlie, and the guy we still talk about that guide.
Goodness.
Oh my gosh! But have your family around two young men who have great manners, who are enthusiastic about the sport and enthusiastic about taking care of your family and making sure your family has the trip of a lifetime.
Yeah.
I just think it's awesome. And so subscribe to YouTube. Remember Gulf Coast Nation. What are you guys on Instagram? And
Yeah, so it's on Facebook, it's Gulf Coast Nation, YouTube's Gulf Coast Nation, and then on Instagram, it's at gulf.coast.nation. But we should pop up Gulf Coast Nation search, hopefully.
yeah, we'll have, on the show notes, we'll have links to all your stuff.
Yeah.
But I would really urge people, go ahead. This podcast goes to a lot of people, so get your dates down, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much.
Oh, thank you for
being
having us.
here.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a favorite episode of a ton of people.
Yeah, reliving good memories and the bad ones like that.
It happens.
Next time we have, we didn't talk too much about you guys getting your bait, and so at some point we'll have you back, and we'll show some of that video, and maybe you'll explain to me why you dove out of the boat on top of a stingray one day.
It's a whole other topic.
It's a whole other topic. But anyway, thank you guys very much.
Thank you for having us. It's been awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
So, you guys, I'm Andy Andrews, the professional noticer, harnessing common sense and wisdom to plow through challenges all the way to an answer for you. And I think that'll do it for this week. Get us out of here, Matthew. So, ladies and gentlemen, and to the boys and girls who aspire to become ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of another episode of The Professional Noticer. In a world where common sense has become a superpower, I'm harnessing the tiny bit of mental energy I have for you, seeking wisdom, making observations, and endeavoring to answer tough questions in a way that will empower your family and your business. I'm Andy Andrews. Until next week, smile while you talk, even behind that mask. Don't breathe anyone else's air. Not time to do that yet, but make sure you have a positive answer to the question, hey, how's it going? And so, until next week, goodbye. This episode of The Professional Noticer was produced by Matt Limpert. The Noticer theme written and performed by Sugarcane Jane. Tuna fish casserole provided by Twinkle and Smoke of Beverly Hills. Additional financial consideration provided by AmazonSecuritySystems.com. You've seen the tech giant's gadgets, doorbells that call your phone with video messaging, drones that fly around your home taking snapshots of suspicious activity, light bulbs disguised to offer 24-hour surveillance. But now, there is a form of security from Amazon Security Systems, and they are not to be confused with the security systems that are sold on Amazon. With Amazon Security Systems, we're bringing the tried and true defense techniques to your home. In just hours, you can be set up with tripwires tethered to bamboo stakes, 9-foot deep ball pits covered with twigs and leaves. Sharpened sticks at the bottom are also an option. Poison-toed dart tips that fire after stepping on the wrong rock. Tree nets large enough to bag a jaguar or several of the neighborhood kids. And a singing shaman, a real live witch doctor, who is sure to creep out anyone before they even think about getting inside your house. So, find out what works best for your house or your hut. That's AmazonSecuritySystems.com.